We'll see if we can get it to work. There we go. Okay.
Hey man, sorry about that. Oh
There you
wait,
are. Your picture's off though.
um,
There you go.
hold on. Tell me if it's good because I can't see because I'm doing it from the back camera, so I can't see you. Is that good?
No, we can't see your face, bud.
Jesus Christ! Oh, what the hell?
That's right side up. There you go. Yeah, there you go.
All right,
Cool. Excellent.
I'm gonna sit down and tell me if you can still see me.
Oh yeah. I think we'll be good. Yeah, excellent.
Okay,
Fantastic. How are you, my friend?
I'm excellent. Sorry about the mix-up there. I was trying to use my computer. I had a good camera and everything, so
It's all right. Most of us like we're all using our phones when we do this. So
oh really?
it's like easy for everybody this way. Sort of like doing FaceTime.
Sure. Yeah, except I'm an Android guy. I don't do FaceTime. Anyways, I do Zoom though. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's all the same thing, man. It's all the same thing. But good to have you on the show.
Glad to be here, man. You can hear
Um,
me all right?
yeah, I can hear you great.
Okay, cool.
Um, so with the room, I'll kind of interact once in a while. So if you see me doing something, I'm just interacting with the room. That's all I'm doing. It's not because I'm not paying attention to what you're saying. I
Oh, well,
am.
the truth is, I can't see you at all because I'm looking at the back of my phone. So I'm just trusting that you got it going on.
I do. I do. Everything's cool. Everything's cool.
I have this really cool setup on my bench. It's a special vice setup, and I actually saw it on Facebook or something. But it's got these little deals. One's a light, and one's a little magnifying glass, and the other one's a thing that holds cell phones. So it's kind of cool.
Awesome. Awesome. All right. So you want to get down to the nitty gritty?
Sure.
All right. All right. So Leo Elliott of Scarlet Fire Guitars. Welcome to the Larry Soul Cactus show about gigs and guitars.
Love that.
It's just like a universal blanket.
I see your videos all the time. They're always in my feed.
Oh, that's cool, man. I'm glad I'm in somebody's feed, other than my own. Cause when you work on your own shit, right? Like you come up in your own feed all the time.
Right.
You're
Yeah,
like,
but that's like the self-serving uh snake eating its own tail thing. All right.
for sure, for sure. All right, so uh, let's do some just some fun questions right off the bat, and then I'll get into some serious stuff with you. Okay?
Sure.
Stones or Beatles?
Beatles.
Okay. Jerry or Bobby?
Jerry.
I figured. Star Trek or Star Wars?
Star Wars.
Okay, excellent. Good call. Nintendo or Sega?
Oh, dude, I mean, I never had a Sega, so I played Nintendo when I was a kid. I'm not a big video game guy.
Okay. Okay. Well, Nintendo's an acceptable answer here. We like Super Mario Brothers on the program.
Sure.
Uh, Skittles, M&Ms, or Reese's Pieces?
Uh, it would be Skittles.
Excellent. Here's a question for you. Fig Newton, is it cookie or is it cake?
It's a cakey cookie.
Well
Yeah,
played,
it's
sir.
yeah. I mean, it's legitimately a cookie, but it sure has kind of the consistency of a cake.
Yeah, it does. Well played, sir. Well played.
There.
Hostess or Little Debbie's?
Little Debbie's.
All right. He-Man or Thundercats?
He-Man or Thundercats. Yeah, that's not my. I mean, I know who He-Man is. I don't even know who Thundercats are.
Oh, that's too funny. Favorite curse word?
Fuck.
Excellent, excellent, cool,
It
very
describes
good.
everything. Yeah.
Agreed, agreed. All right, now's the nitty gritty.
Sure.
So, what was your first childhood experience with music? Like, what was the thing that made you go, "Hey, I really like this"? Like, it made you stand
Um,
up and take notice.
my father had a lot of really cool albums. And just I think probably the first kind of rock album that I bought myself that I was kind of into was probably Styx Pieces of Eight,
Yeah,
that album. And I used to play that thing so loud in my parents' stereo. They had this glass shelves that they just rattle off. I broke the shelves one time, and I used to jam that album really hard. But my dad had cool like Pink Floyd, Uma Guma, obviously Dark Side of the Moon. He had some solo Garcia stuff, Mars Hotel, some girls, Rolling Stones, and some old Beatles albums, original, like Meet the Beatles and original pressings and stuff like that. So, and I started playing saxophone in eighth grade. And by the end of eighth grade, I was started playing bass. My friend's band needed a bass player. They had everything, but we had keyboard, guitars, whatever, and needed a bass player. So I kind of
so
just
you did.
filled
You
that
were
slot.
you were kind of like the Phil Lesh. Hey, man,
Yeah, right.
we,
Yeah,
we,
I
we
guess
need a
you'd call
we
it.
need a bass player. You fancy
It,
playing
it,
bass?
if Phil Lesh played In Excess,
Sure, why not? I could see
sure.
it.
I didn't like I had these bonds for my bar mitzvah, or actually they weren't from my bar mitzvah. I mean, I wasn't that much older, but I guess it came from when I was born. But I did someone, and I kind of just kind of grabbed those and cashed some in and went to the melody shop with three of my friends and that were in the band with me, and I got a TKO 65 and a PV, P bass, and we brought it home on the dart bus,
Yeah.
wheeling that TKO 65. We traded carrying that thing from the bus stop to the house. That was, we were determined.
How old were you then? You're 13.
That would have been the end of eighth grade.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow. What year was that for you?
What would have been 86 or 7? 80, 80, so 89, 87, I think.
Okay, so I'm just a little bit older than you. I think.
Just a bit, yeah. I was born in 72.
Yeah. 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 Very cool. So it was really like I guess I was sort of like looking for like
Oh,
a story
actual
like
music itself,
yeah, like there was like I remember one time where this is really messed up. I remember one time I faked being sick at school so I could have my aunt pick me up because my mom wasn't home, pick me up, take me home so I could listen to the Eagles, The Long Run, on 8-track cassette because I just had it playing over and over in my brain at school. I had to go back home and listen to it.
Wow.
And when my mom got home later that afternoon, I was so busted.
Man, my first real obsession, like I was very into music. It's like I don't know where it first happened. I just know that by 86 or 87, I have to look it up when it came out. I had one of the first CD players portable CD players that ever was out.
Oh,
It
you
was
had a
a
disc man.
Toshiba. It was a Toshiba
I
unit,
remember.
and it had like 6D batteries that attached the back of it, and a big freaking thing that you held. And
I
it was supposed
remember
to be
that.
portable. It was crazy, this thing. Or it had a plug-in thing too. but the only CDs that were available at the time was Shout at the Devil, brand new, and Led Zeppelin 4. The only things, worth, I mean, they had other CDs, but the only things I was interested in were those two CDs.
Right. And you remember the way that CDs were packaged back then when they originally came out?
Sure,
In the big cardboard paper, like you'd
massive
open
things, yeah.
you'd open it up and it'd be like sort of like a foot and a half of like paper and like 6 inches across, and the CD would be down at one end, and you'd be like, dude, what the
What is
like
this?
why
Yeah, no, no. I,
why is all this packaging necessary for this little thing?
yeah, no, I felt the same way. And I remember that they didn't sound that good. I mean, I thought it'd be so cool and was cutting edge, and I just thought it sounded harsh and weird.
Well, some of them early on did not, and had to look at the back. They had DAD or DDA
Right.
for their digital or analog transfers, how it was transferred. So, like, if you had a CD that was marked triple D, let's just say, it was all digitally transferred. So theoretically, that CD would sound better than a DAD or a DDA CD.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
I
the
know
way I
that
remember it.
because they went. I do remember the one thing that when I got, like, this is a little bit later, but I remember getting Led Zeppelin 1, like, this is a few years later, obviously, but I remember it was the first time I heard um, the uh, the tambourine at the end of Whole Lot of Love. Like, there's like a shaking of the tambourine, and I remember I never heard that before. Like, even on the album. Um,
Always, it always amazes me, like records like that. Every time you listen to it, like you hear something new, you discover something new that wasn't you didn't hear to the prior listening before.
sure.
Yeah. And I think that's always so cool.
Yeah, no, there certainly are a lot of them, and I think some of the remixes help too and stuff. But yeah, but Led Zeppelin was probably my first, like, you know, like, I read Hammer of the Gods late at night under my covers with the
I
light,
read that too. Yeah.
just totally, that was, and I spent all my money on, all these bootlegs, bootleg albums. We had this place called Bill's Records and Tapes down the road, and this weird dude Bill, if he let you in the back, where all the cool stuff was, the illegal stuff was, and it's been, $85, a lot of money back then on a 4 album
Yeah.
set, Blueberry Hills or whatever. And they all sounded like shit, I mean, they weren't that good. None of them were soundboards or anything.
No,
Um,
I have Blueberry Hill here on CD.
yeah, I had the original album for that and a bunch of them.
Yeah, me too. That's cool. There was a place here called well, we have Zia Records here, and then there's but the real like record store was Rockaway Records, was a place where I used to go and get Zepp boots here in town. But
Yeah.
it no longer exists.
Yeah, no shit. You could be, I even to this day, because we listened a lot in the shop, and it's music's always going, and it's just amazing how much Zeppelin material is on YouTube. Good soundboard stuff.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah,
Was like okay, so when you began playing an instrument like not saxophone, but like say bass, and getting more into like playing in a like rock band, was so Zeppelin was like your thing
yeah,
at that
yeah. A,
point.
a
That
lot,
was
a
your
lot of
biggest
Zeppelin.
influence.
Big influence. In the band we were in, we did a lot of like In Excess, The Cult,
Okay, so
like that kind of stuff. But then later, my band, and as we got into high school, we picked up this guitar player who was really good, and we were playing like Satch Boogie and
that's
a
cool.
lot of Joe Satriani and Steve Vai stuff.
Wow,
Um,
that's impressive.
Billy Sheehan and Stu Ham were big
Big
influence on me
influence.
later as I could play more. I played all the two-handed, like Moonlight Sonata and Peanuts and all that kind of stuff. I was totally into that stuff.
That's
But
very
yeah, I mean,
cool.
I remember that we played, like I said, it was not, this was 10th grade. We rented the music hall at school, and I mean, we like opened with Satch Boogie. It was cool, you know. I mean, for high school kids, this guy Matt was really good.
Yeah, that's amazing. I think like my high school rock band, my junior year, we played in the high school talent show in the auditorium, and like we played "On the Dark Side" by Eddie and the Cruisers, "Jailhouse Rock" by Elvis, "Rock and Roll" by Led Zeppelin, and "Radioactive" by The Firm. That was it.
Yeah. Well, that's a cool riff there.
Yeah, I mean they were all cool. I mean it was fun, you know. Like they televised it on like public access cable one night, one of the nights. So it's just
Oh
like
yeah,
we got to have our little Wayne's World type moment back in I don't know, it was 88.
yeah.
Yeah.
Super cool stuff, man. Yeah. But yeah, but definitely music was a big part of my life. I spent a lot of time at night, you know, playing my bass in my room. You know, I wouldn't really, my mom wouldn't really allow me to have an amplifier at the house. I'm always, you know, just playing, you know, playing without, you know, just in the bedroom without any
Right.
amplification, you know, putting my
Right.
ear to the headstock, you know.
Yeah. So I mean like when you got the bass and you brought it home, you just took to it like a fish to water. Is that what I'm
Yeah.
getting? Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, it seemed you know it was a struggle, but I definitely picked it up pretty well and enjoyed you know playing. You know, the guys in my band were really good, and our drummer Danny Handler, he passed not too long ago, but he was a
Oh, I'm
recording
sorry, man.
artist. Yeah, he had cancer, but he was in the 1 o'clock lab band in North Texas, and he ended up going on and doing session work and whatnot. He was really good.
Oh, that's cool.
Uh,
That's very
and
cool.
pushed us a lot. Childhood friend.
So
Yeah.
you weren't like you weren't sorry about your choice, is what I'm getting at. You
Oh no,
weren't sorry you
absolutely
went with the
not. You know,
bass instead of the guitar, is what I'm getting at.
no, and it changed for me later because I started playing guitar you know later probably as I my senior year in high school I started playing a little more guitar and trying to learn. But I did actually go. I didn't graduate college, but I actually did a year and a half at the University of Arkansas, and I was in the stand. I played stand up in the jazz orchestra there. So I was, you know, in jazz band in high school. So I was still playing bass, but I was learning the guitar
Oh,
uh,
that's cool. That's
on the
cool.
side.
So after high school, you went you well, you went to college, right?
Yeah, I did. I didn't finish, but I went to the University of Arkansas.
Oh, okay. Okay. So did you play music while you were there?
Yeah, yeah. Like I said, I was in the jazz band. I played
Oh,
jazz.
okay.
I played
I
stand up.
thought okay, I got my wires crossed. I thought jazz
Yeah,
band
that's
was in
okay.
high
Uh,
school.
you know, and I was, you know, already in, you know, by my junior senior year of high school, I started started heard Jerry Garcia and uh, and started getting into the Dead. Um, at that time, I had a friend Kyle Senzer that um, he was from New York and saw some shows, you know, shows in '88 and '89. I was aware the Dead came here to Dallas in '88, but I was aware that it happened, but I was just before my time. And that's when I discovered, hey, my dad's got Grateful Dead records. My dad's got Garcia records, you know. Um, and I really started to get into that scene a lot more.
Well, that was one of my other questions. When did Leo
Sure.
fall in love with the Dead?
Yeah, and that's where it really happened for me. And my first show was in the summer of '89, and then you know, saw a couple shows in '90 and '91. I saw about 26 or seven dead. I'm trying to remember, 27 dead shows. But it was not easy, you know, because you know, you have to travel. I mean, they just didn't come to our, you know, we went to Colorado for a 2 day run or, you know, to drive to Atlanta. We did Atlanta a couple of years and out to Vegas.
Okay, all
You know,
right. Stop on the Vegas, dude.
sure.
Were we at the same Dead shows with
I don't
Carlos
know.
Santana?
Well, yes. So the 92, the 91 at Mile High
92.
Stadium with Santana. That was 91 at Mile High
Nine,
Stadium.
yes. Yes, I
I,
was there.
I was there too. Yeah. And that's when,
I have my ticket stubs, dude. I'll send you a photo later.
so Santana had been busted for weed, and the show was delayed. And they got him on a plane, and I remember like I don't know, it was like Soul Sacrifice. I'm trying to remember what he came out with, but that was cool. That was a great. That was a cool day. Great show.
Okay.
A very very cool day.
Yeah, both of those shows were great.
Yeah. Um,
I remember Carlos playing Birdsong with the Dead.
and that was amazing. Yeah, it was man. That was very cool. We I remember just driving back just on such a high. It was super cool. We did it just kind of like um I think we ended up camping out on the way back to catch some Z's after the show.
Sure.
Um, but man, certainly cool. Saw some Arizona shows too. Saw Tempe in '91 in December of '91. They
Um,
played in Tempe.
was it Compton Terrace by chance?
Compton Terrace. Compton
Yeah.
Terrace.
Yeah, it's actually considered Phoenix.
Oh, it is.
Um,
Oh, okay.
I was at that I
I
was at
guess I
that
was going.
show. I was
So
at
my
those shows
girlfriend at the
too.
time went to University of Arizona. So I guess that's in Tempe.
U of A is in Tucson, ASU is in Tempe.
Okay. Oh, okay. So,
Yeah.
anyways, all right. Well,
Go
anyways,
Wildcats.
I took a Greyhound bus out there from
Yeah,
Texas.
that couldn't have been fun.
No, oh no, but I was glad to be there. That was super fun. I remember they opened. I think they opened one of the days with "Victim of the Crime." That was kind of cool. Um, Second set.
They had
Yeah, I mean, I was totally so once I saw the Dead, I was totally, off into it. And I love, still love all kinds of music. But I started trading a bunch of tapes. I had 300 or 400 tapes, and
wow.
it was a lot harder back then.
Yeah, but you get like it was harder. There was no internet back then.
Yeah, you had to do the order trees. Sending the XL2s everywhere.
Yeah, and I remember like do you have any of these Dead Bass? The
Oh
big
yeah, sure. I've got some
yeah, yeah.
laying
I
around
remember
somewhere.
one of my brother's friends had a couple of those, and I used to like. I mean, I'd go through his like Dead bootleg collection and just pick out like. I think my favorite Dead show is from Dallas, Moody Auditorium, 1977.
Right.
That
That
show
year,
rocks, dude.
man, I don't, it's interesting. I don't know if I've actually heard the Moody, that SMU show. I mean, they played there in the 68 and early 70s too. There's a Houston show from 72 that's absolutely really, really good. The Huffines Pavilion, which I had early tapes of, but 77 Deads, there's not a lot of bad shows during that era. It's pretty.
Well, I was gonna say this is. I mean, like, I thought this show was mind blowing. It's like the best version of any Dead I've ever heard, and my other favorite incarnation is the Brett Midland years.
Yeah. Sure.
Like
Yeah.
80, 82, 82, 83.
Yeah, I mean that 81 to 83 is probably my favorite. It's interesting because the setlets, during that time were very like they didn't change as much. I mean, a lot of maybe the songs they were playing wasn't as wide, but yeah, those are that's my favorite area for Jerry's tone. His playing, like he's on the heroin, but it's still kind of working for him,
Well,
and
Brett's on it too.
and yeah, I mean, it's just tone is just screaming, at that time. Um, and it's a great period. It's a great period. That 81 to 83 is probably my favorite.
Did you ever
A
hear
lot
about
of great.
that offshoot band that Brent and Bob Weir did called Go Ahead?
No, I knew about Bobby and the Midnights. Oh, the go. I think that was just a thing that they did like
It
at
was
a
it was. They did like a handful of shows, but
yeah.
one of the handful of shows they did, they came to Celebrity Theater in Phoenix. It was in '87, and I went, and it was
Wow.
fucking amazing, dude.
No, now that's something I never saw. Oh my God, that's amazing. I really
They had like other
I knew
class.
about it, but I didn't. I mean, that's not. I don't think I've ever listened. I mean, I listened to Bobby and the Midnights. Yeah,
No, this was like it was. First of all, it was pure like up tempo rock and roll. They had like besides Brent, they had a bunch of other like classic rockers to fill out the lineup. So those were the only two cats from the Dead. But I think
right.
like one guy was from like I don't know the Little Rascals or the Rascals, and the couple other guys were from something else. And I was just like, wow, these guys really kicked ass. I was like blown away. I was like,
Yeah, I mean,
why can't the Dead be more like this?
uh, Brent was, you know, he was a really great. He was an amazing Hammond player. Um, and really in the period, I mean, starting to 88, 89, 90, like Brent was really like coming to his own and becoming a force, at the shows. I mean, he's always there and amazing high harmony and everything. But, from Brent, a lot of friends who've been to a lot of these shows, of course, when you can see him too, it's like, man, he was a force to be reckoned with, rock and roll, you know,
Yeah, he was great.
God.
Um, so
We,
when was the like um I guess epiphany, or I don't know what you want to call it, like I'm gonna start learning how to build guitars and I'm gonna do this business, Scarlet Fire Guitar, like tell me how it all started. I want the Leo, I want the origin story of
the origin story, the truth is in 2008 and 9, I spent a lot of time in Ghana in Africa.
okay.
I was mining gold.
Wow.
I had two 25-acre concessions in Ghana. I brought excavators over there and everything. I mean, I was doing the whole gold rush thing, whatever. In Ghana, I started to see the gold market turn, and we had a friend of the family that was from there, and and I just kind of got gold fever and was doing this thing. And my father-in-law at the time was not doing well.
Gotcha.
He was diagnosed with dementia, and he was just starting to need a lot of help at the house.
Yeah.
And so I kind of looked, and also at the same time there were some political things that were happening there that made it not as advantageous to continue doing what I was doing. So I kind of liquidated everything there and came back to Dallas, and I was at home all the time trying to help with him, whether it's get shower, move out of bed, just take care
Right.
of him.
Right.
He wasn't, they didn't quite want to do a home situation or anything like that. So I was like, well, man, what am I going to do all day?
Right.
And you know, I there was the Are You Kind was an old uh forum, and on there was a couple of guys that were building, these replicas and stuff like that. And I've always been like a can do kind of guy.
Yeah.
And like, man, these guys get, pretty decent money for this, a lot better than a Strat, Um,
Right.
I had some woodworking background,
Okay.
not, I mean, I'd done a bunch of jobs, but I always worked with my hands. I turned wrenches. I worked on a Volkswagen line. I was line mechanic, whatever, but never in a wood area. But my grandfather had a full wood shop, and was actually a commercial printer, but
Okay, so
had Yeah.
You're handy. You're a handy guy.
Yeah, the
Okay.
handy guy. Good,
Okay.
always good with my hands. And I just said, you know what? I'm going to try to build one of these. I'm just going to try to do this. Not to make it a business, not to do whatever, just to see what I could do. What if
Right.
I could actually do it. And we actually took the garage that we turned it into like a little shop, got some tools or whatever, and then we had another extension built on the house, for a garage. So it was like a 400 square foot little garage, that I started my little business in. But it wasn't really a business at this point. But and I built the first one, and I kind of cringe to look at it now, but I took it to this guy, Pablo, and he worked at Charlie's Guitars here in Dallas, Texas.
I know of Charlie's Guitars.
It's a pretty famous place. I mean, like
Yeah.
Eric Clapton comes to town, he's going to that place. Been there forever. A lot of famous people buy vintage stuff there. But he was a repair guy, the Martin guy and repair guy. And I brought this guitar to him, and and he was pretty impressed. He was like, "Man, this is your first guitar, man. This is you should see some of the crap that people bring to me."
I'm sure. I'm sure.
And I look at it now. I don't even have the thing. I mean, the paint was like piss yellow, and but I did all the finish work myself. I did everything, and the inlay work. Because you can't just learn how to put a guitar together. There's all this inlay work. There's all this kind of stuff, and I just kind of taught all this stuff to myself. I got books. Saw some stuff online, and just kind of made it happen. The guy said, "Hey, man, you're kind of onto something here. Hey, there's this. Maybe you can work on improving. But yeah, this thing's really nice. Overall, it played nice. And he thought I was doing something right, and he
That's
encouraged
very
me to just kind of
impressive.
keep going."
That's very
And that
impressive.
was it. I was like, well, this guy sees, nothing but all, vintage, nice guitars all day. If he thinks I really, because I didn't know him, he wasn't a friend. I just brought it in, I just showed it to him.
You were
And it turns out
you were
later,
looking for feedback. You were looking
yeah,
for
for feedback
constructive
from somebody who
feedback.
knew.
Right.
And he was actually he was a drummer and singer in a dead band here in Dallas.
Okay.
Second drummer, and he sang the Pigpen parts. Guy.
Nice. Like that.
But so yeah, so I kind of started with that, and I sold that guitar to somebody in Germany for like, I don't know, like $1,700 or something.
I was going to ask you, do you remember the first one you built? And
Yeah,
yes, you
I
do.
sold it to him. He was in Germany. I don't even know the guy's name. I guess I can look at my old eBay account. And I made another one, within 5 to 6 months of the next one. And sold that one to a guy in Japan. My first guitars I sold on eBay. Just put them up there, and they went out, had several bidders on them and stuff.
So it just sort of like was a domino effect. One thing
just a
led to
domino effect.
another.
Like, and then once I made the second one and I sold it, I was like, hey, this could be a little business. I'm already here. I'm helping my father-in-law. I'm here anyways during the day. Why don't I, try to make some of this? And I formed a partnership with my mother-in-law at the time. Mm-hmm. And I got a little nice, some little nicer tools, and she loaned me a little bit of money to get started.
That's cool.
She'd already built an addition for me, basically, which got things started. And I was doing all my finish work there, in the shop, at home, everything, and then I started going on Are You Kind and selling to guys there, people who were, and almost exclusively all my first probably 7, 8, 9 sales were all were all off Are You Kind, word of mouth, like,
and these were people that were playing in sort of established Grateful Dead cover bands.
Yeah, established cover bands, guys. Well, some people, like, were just woodshedding at home, but into the thing, But these were, not. I didn't get the big, these were guys that known it, not big cover band guys, but just dudes that were doing it at home and wanted a Jerry axe, um,
Gotcha.
and
Gotcha.
I almost exclusively, started with Wolves, building Wolf guitars till about 2014.
Oh, okay.
And because to tell you the truth, Tiger and then eventually Rosebud, they're completely different animals. I mean, first of all, there's things about the Wolf that are complicated. Being a set neck guitar, there wasn't a lot of. That's the other thing. There wasn't a lot of information on building set neck guitars. Because this like Area Pro 2 did it. Not a lot of people did that. Not a lot of people build set neck guitars. I mean, Limbic does, but I knew about them. But but it's not a very common way to construct things.
Well, Gibson was almost a set neck guitar company.
Oh, who?
Gibson.
I mean, I didn't mean set neck. Neck through. Yeah, I mean, Gibson's a set neck, right? I'm talking about neck through. Sorry. Neck through. Obviously, all Gibsons are set neck. Yeah. I mean, yeah. And obviously Fenders are bolt on. I just meant, but the idea of neck through was not a thing that a lot of people were doing, and it wasn't there certainly wasn't a lot of information on how to do it.
The neck through is only on a 335.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh, cool.
to my knowledge, is only on a 335. I could be wrong, and if I am, I apologize to you.
Yeah, yeah. I'm sure they'll let you know.
335 is all the way through the neck.
Wow.
It's not a set neck like a Paul or an SG.
Right.
It's one solid piece of wood.
Man, that's super cool. And I like that construction. I think I think just having the neck and the bridge all on the same piece of wood changes that instrument. It just I mean, I know that people talk, oh, well, if you have a good glue joint, I certainly think set necks are better than bolt-ons. But now with the inserts and using 5 bolts and running it through, it's no different than gluing it, I think. Things are made a little differently now. I mean, you can, compensate for that. But having that connection to the body be solid and tight makes for, I think it's part of the sustain thing with the Gibson.
Yeah, well, just like strings through the body on a telly has a certain ring quality to it.
Yeah, ring to it. Yeah, bringing that down, bringing it through the body, and the tension on the body. I think
all
of that. It's all mojo. I don't think it's hooey. It certainly has an effect. But I found just it was really interesting for years. Like everything I read, to kind of just go on a little small tangent. Like everything I read, Jerry's guitar. There was some little article that said, this guitar weighed 13.5 pounds, right? And when I was building them, I mean, I started trying to build them. I wasn't coming out with weights like that, and I was just thinking it just didn't make sense to me that who would want a 14-pound guitar, and I know that some of the Les Pauls can be pretty damn heavy.
The customs are generally like a 10-pound guitar.
Yeah, 10 pounds. And that's generally what my guitars tend to be. But what I between 9.5. What I found is that when I actually finally had the Tiger myself, that the guitar was not 13.5 pounds. It was 9 pounds 6 ounces. That there was all this. It was really only one article I think that kept getting repeated over and over again. And people were thinking, that a heavy guitar must make a good guitar or whatever. And I don't think that the two are.
I hate that. I hate that theory. No, I don't think that they're related, and I think that is ass backwards thinking.
Yeah, because I know that some of the real desirable Strats are the real early light ones. the ones that people really want, those really, like real light ones. And again, I'm not a
Yeah, they're
super,
made with ash.
yeah,
They have an ash body, 54 through like 58, 59.
yeah.
They didn't start using alder until 59 is when they started. That's what
Right.
I
And
know.
I don't do a lot of Strat builds, but I have special customers I'll do some for, and I'm always looking for that really super light ash, build for these guys. Most of the time it's somebody that's got back issues. And I'm actually working on a whole new line of instruments that are what I be ultralight basses and guitars.
Oh,
I
see,
mean,
that would be something for me.
and like and the impetus came from O'Teal Burbage. He's playing one of those not a Sarek. Trying to remember, I feel like an idiot. I can't remember the name now, but these 7.5 pound six string basses,
Yeah,
they're and I know my six string is like almost 11 and a half pounds. I've got an Ibanez, so
wait,
that's a considerably light instrument, um and
but well, I was going to say you recreated the mission
yeah,
control base.
yeah,
Didn't you bring
yeah,
that to
there's a
them, or
couple.
like what's the story there?
Well, yeah, well, they're actually fairly light, relatively light instruments. They're all hollow inside. I have one here.
I see them hanging up there. Yeah, bring that over,
So,
please. Awesome,
so I don't.
you
You can look
guys. This is
inside there. I
cool.
mean, there's nothing inside there. This is all. The backs actually come off. They're screwed on, and the backs come off. I mean, there's nothing. I mean, there's nothing to these things. I mean, internally. I mean, the wood itself is an Osage orange, which is a very heavy wood, almost a fence post wood.
Yeah,
um,
it looks like a piece of furniture.
yeah, but
Well,
this
it's
is the
beautiful, Leo. It's beautiful.
yeah, and there's the inlay on the top, and there's the Osiris on the back. But yeah,
Oh,
but
that's
so
beautiful.
but it had so much electronics in it, that the guitar itself may be light, but it's a lot of it's got boards on top of boards inside it. Um, So that tends to add to it. And they also use the early Olympics, they use these sustain blocks on them that are, basically, you know, I machine them, the sustain blocks out of a solid piece of aluminum like this, 7/8 by 7/8. So the bridge actually sets into a big piece of brass like this. And
Wow.
that obviously, I mean, damn, I mean, that's like, 9
I was going to
ounces.
say that adds weight.
Yeah. And but and I think there's something to those sustain blocks, man. I mean, like I don't know if you've ever done the upgrades like on a Strat. I know you don't play Strat, but
Well,
with
I
putting the
don't.
heavy,
I haven't in a while, but yeah.
but
The
putting those heavy brass, the brass sustain blocks, they give I think they help the tone,
Interesting. I just like whenever I have a Strat, like I'm usually not the bridge is pretty flat. I don't use the whammy bar
Yeah,
because I'm not that kind of Strat player. So and in if I play an Eric Clapton model, there's a wood block. If you take off the centerpiece here where the springs are,
yeah,
there's a
yeah.
there's a wood block, like there's a tremolo block. So there's a wood piece in there that's literally blocking the tremolo.
Yeah, blocking the tremolo up. Yeah, and I did that. I modded all when I played strats. I modded all my strats that way. I'm not a
Yeah,
whammy bar guy myself,
yeah,
Um, but I mean, there's some guys that do.
sure.
I'm working on a guitar right now for a guy, that's got. I don't know if you heard it, Sophia tremolos, but it's like a $900 tremolo.
Wow,
They're absolutely beautiful, incredibly made.
like
Um,
a Bixby.
next generation. Well, it's not like a big, the way it's designed. It's got this balance wheel on the back that you can actually work it from the back and change the way it works. And the locking nut is, I mean, it's really elegant way it's made. Um, but anyways, but for like really crazy tremolo stuff, locking tremolo work that guys do, it's
So
one of the best.
is this the next generation of whammy bars and stuff?
Yeah, it really is, man. You look this guy, Sophia tremolos. I mean, and the cool thing about them is they drop right in to their Floyd or Taylor or whatever. Um, sorry, man, that was my doctor calling. Anyways, so they drop right in without modification to a Floyd or whatever you have. So they're designed. I mean, I'm doing a new build, obviously, but they're actually designed, to be a direct fit. But they have like, I wish I had the one. Man, dude. So sorry to leave the frame, but so what's the cool thing about this? So this is the tremolo, right?
Yeah.
And it's got a drop D on the back. So you literally flip this and it becomes a drop D for your E. And that's an add-on. This is the 292. It's got a bimetal sustain block that you could turn this wheel and change the action
That's
on the
nuts.
fly underneath.
Wow. Wow.
And I mean, it looks like a 50s, but this thing is really cool, and
Looks like a 50s like car tailpiece. That's
yeah,
what
I
you're going
know,
to say, right?
cartail, but I
Right.
love this, the idea of having the drop D and
That's pretty
just really
smart.
well made, cool thing, like I said, and that, I mean, it's 900, I think $900 for that and
Wow.
the nut together, but yeah, it's not cheap. But if that's your thing, if that's what that's what you're into. Some people, you need your Steve Vai crazy stuff.
That's that's cool, man. That's awesome. That's crazy. So, uh how long does it take, like, if someone decides, hey, I want a Leo Elliott Scarlet Fire guitar, what's the build process like? Take me through that.
Yeah, I mean, generally, I build about right now. I'm building between 17 and 20 units a year,
Okay.
and generally, I tell people 18 to 24 months. It just depends on the complexity, but it's about a 2-year process.
Okay.
Um, and I thought this was, I really, it's kind of notorious about builders, but I heard about the guy that Clapton gets his acoustics from, and apparently, like, he had this one guitar built, and he's Eric Clapton. He got to jump the line. He waited like 13 years or something for this guy. Some dude, you think he's at Tennessee or something? He's in his 80s now. I think his daughter's taken over for him. I'm trying to remember his name. But like, people, for the right guy, people will wait a long time,
Well, just look at Howard Dumble and Dumble amps.
Oh, well, yeah, obviously with Dumble's amps. Yeah. I mean, dude, yeah. And from what I understand, if you bothered that dude, he might just take you off the list. If you said the wrong thing to him, or
Yeah,
where's my amp, or
yeah, he was extremely touchy. There was like
yeah,
I actually read I would say within the last 6 months I read it, and it was like his sort of like his contract that you entered in with him. And it stated like, if you call me, this will add on build time to your amplifier. If you bother me with blah blah, like it was like every little thing. But it
he
also
had it written
stated like,
out.
yeah, it also stated like, the first thing I'm going to do is go out and evaluate you as a player, which I know you don't do, right? You've never
Right.
done that,
No,
have
but
you?
I don't go to them, but I do like to see who it is that I'm building for. I absolutely do.
Oh, I figured as
I don't
much.
make a determination whether they can buy from me. but I do,
Yeah, you're
I
like,
do like
that's
to
right.
know who it is I'm
I'm gonna
building
sell
with.
it. If you want to buy it, I'm gonna sell it.
Right. I've always said, hey, like, man, these are your guitars. If you want me to fucking inlay a dick on it, I will. I mean, it's up to you. It's your thing.
That's exactly what I wanted on the 12th fret.
Yeah. Big
Cool.
penis. Yeah. But
Can you
but
make it in the shape of a cactus for me though?
yeah, absolutely. But yeah, I do, and I even early on I like would take a handprint, like ask for a Xerox
Uh,
of their hand, because I noticed a lot of things about myself personally. Like, so I had some injuries over the years doing what I do, and it hasn't happened in a long time. I'm knocking on wood right now, but I very early on cut this tendon, so this finger does not bend
oh
anymore
boy.
on its own. And then actually the tip of this finger was cut off by a joiner. So it's like if you look at my this finger, how
Wow.
shorter it is.
Yeah.
So I've had some things. So that to play, I always thumb chords like Hendrix. So I know that if I want to play a guitar me, and thumb, I need to have that nut cut where the string's over to the edge, because you're really not in, you worry about the string being too far over on the high E, but the low E, you're not going to go off the side, you're going toward it. So
Right.
so I just started noticing things about, just my personal thing. It's like, wow, well, everybody else has theirs too, right? You're a player. I've got man, dude, I've had guys tell me, I've got these freaking, tree stump fingers, and I can't play 99% of the guitars I pick up, I have room to play an A chord. If I want to play a traditional A chord with the three fingers together, I can't do it. Can you stretch this out for me? Some people, might have really long fingers in proportion to how long their hand is, or whatever. So I try to take that into account when I'm building an instrument for a person, and not try to,
Right.
I always thought my first motto was building Jerry's guitar for you, that's all I was doing, which is
Well,
not the
that
case.
right, but that makes sense. And it also makes sense to me that when you're starting an order for someone, you would get some measurements from them in terms of like, hey, what shape do you want the back of your neck to feel like? Do you want like a 65C on a Strat? Do you want like a 52 Tele U? Like I'm sure you have to go through these things with the buyer, right?
It depends.
Do they
And every customer is different.
Okay.
Now that I've gone in
Sorry,
with, like,
customer.
example on the Mission Control project, I've scanned the original, I've actually scanned the actual thing, and I was able to do that with the Tiger project too. So a lot of people I want Jerry's guitar. I want that,
Okay.
but then there are other customers say, hey, I really like this, the way, an old Dan Electro feels, that real high shoulder kind of feel. Yeah. And a lot of my stock, um, my own cars are all very asymmetric. I just felt ergonomically, you want more fall as your hand starts to turn and you move up the neck. You want more fall off higher on the neck. Just by the way you when you start to turn. Like, I don't know, when I play, I start to turn my hand more as I go up the neck. Pulling it over. Um,
Yes. Yes.
I
Especially when
made
you're
my
playing lead.
carves. Yeah. So I make my carves to accommodate the natural motion of the hand.
Right.
So when I
Right.
choose my own, my Scarlet Fire car, whatever, if I don't have a reference, um,
Right. So if somebody says, I need this, whatever it is, say I want the neck carve of a 59 LP. You don't have a 59 LP at the shop that you can reference, do you? Do you have to go out and find
I
one
don't, but
somewhere?
I do have the patterns.
You have
I've
the
got
patterns.
I have the neck patterns for a lot of classic
Oh,
instruments.
okay.
So,
Oh,
and again, those are all relative because I'm not, because that all depends on nut size and how wide it is, 24th fret. But yes, we could make something that's 59 LP esque, in the same basic shape for the fretboard that we're using. Yeah.
now on the Jerry replica guitars, like the Wolves and the Tigers and the Rosebuds, um, are those all the same scale length on the neck?
Yes, they
And
they all are.
what
They're
is
all
the scale
25.
length?
They're all Strat. They're all 25.5. So that's one of the
Okay,
things that Jerry really loved is he loved a Strat scale, but with a Gibson bridge setup. He thought that the ABR bridge, or at least the post, and that was a much better. And he modified his Strats to have them. So he loved things about Strats and he loved things about Gibsons. Um,
that sounds like Mark
and
Ford.
and the whole idea of the Irwin was this idea of hybridizing the cool things he liked from both of these things to make the instrument that he wanted. Yeah,
You're talking about Doug Irwin, right?
I'm talking about Doug Irwin, the guy that made Jerry's guitars. Yeah.
Okay,
um,
okay. I just wanted you to put it out there
yes, absolutely.
because
Yeah,
my
yeah,
audience may
yeah.
not know.
And he intuited, I guess I mean, the Wolf was made and Jerry walked in the store and picked it up. So it wasn't made for him. He just bought it and said,
It's a
at the
very
time he
cool
bought it,
guitar.
he said, make me another one. You know what I like. Make me another one. Just go crazy. You know what I like. Make me another one. I won't bother you. I won't do anything. As far as I know, Jerry never bought, that's 1973, 73. So, 73. And he said, make me another one. I don't think Doug delivered the Tiger to him until almost 1980, 79, 80. So it was like all 6 years or so. And Jerry never bothered him or asked him or said anything. I think he called him when it was done and told him he was going to bring it to him.
I just remember
Um,
seeing. I don't know if you remember this, but like in '87, they released uh, "In the Dark,"
right.
or
Yeah.
and
In the
like
dark.
yeah, right. And the big hit was "Touch of Grey," so you'd see it on MTV like all day long, right? And I just remember seeing Jerry's Wolf, and I was just like, "That's a really cool guitar. Nobody's got a guitar like that." They're like,
Like
"That's
that. Oh, yeah.
Jerry's
That's
guitar."
actually the Tiger. But yeah. But
Oh,
yes,
I'm
it's still.
sorry.
But that's okay. I mean, yeah. But yeah, you're right. There is no other guitar shaped like that. It's kind of interesting. I don't know if you've seen Zach. Have you seen Zach Wild? He's got a guitar that's kind of in that shape a little bit. It's kind of weird. Uh, it's color. It's a colored instrument, whatever. It's blue or whatever, but it's like got that shape with the dog ears.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. I like Zach Wild. Did you see what Warren Haynes did to his one of his Telecasters?
no.
Oh my god, dude. He turned it into like an SG, dude. He seriously he had his guy take it and carve this out. And it looks like this almost.
Oh my
Like there's
god.
like a really
Aaron, let
thin
me
horn on
look
the
at your.
top.
Yeah.
If you look at Warren Haynes's Instagram account, you'll see it. But it's
Wow. Wow.
wild. I'm like, dude, I can't believe you did that. But I get it. I understand why he did it. He wanted to have that access up the neck. I totally
Right.
get it. I'm like, you know what? That's brilliant. That really that really is brilliant.
The other thing is that's one of the things I love about Irwin, and I don't know, I just don't understand why you wouldn't have a 2-octave guitar. Like the idea that you would have, it just seems logical to have 24 frets, on an instrument. And I know, like I said, you got traditional, your traditional Strats and Les Pauls don't have them, but
Do you think Leo Fender and Les Paul had problems with the math?
I
Just
don't
kidding.
think
Just
so.
kidding.
It's just
Just
weird.
kidding.
I mean,
Just kidding. I'm gonna be struck down later.
Yeah, no, I don't think so. I'm just wondering. I don't know. It just makes sense. I mean, it's not but if you're going to have that, you need to have access to that. I mean, you need to be able to up there, and that's one of the cool things about both the wolf and the tiger. They have beautiful open access to the whole
They do.
fretboard.
I have to ask you. Okay, so I was on your website earlier, and I can't tell the difference between the two models. Tell me what the difference is between the tiger and the wolf.
No, well, it's the tiger and the rosebud. So
Sorry, the tiger and the
the wolf,
rosebud.
so the tiger and the rosebud actually come from the same pattern. They come from the same pattern, but the tiger itself, the carve is different on it, and the
That's what I thought.
horn, the top horn up here is shorter.
Is the
Like,
wolf just referring? Is the wolf just referring to the shape of it,
no, the wolf's referring to the. So the wolf is referring to uh,
or is that the
the
strap
body
looking
of
one?
the guitar. So here's the two up against each other.
Oh, okay, that's great.
So there's one, there's the tiger, and there's a rosebud. I guess he was either one trying to accommodate the balance, maybe,
Okay,
to get a little more out,
I
or
see it.
he might have just been carving and just went a little too crazy on it and went down, but the original has longer ones like that. And the wolf itself looks like this. This is a wolf body.
That's right. Okay, yeah, I got my wires crossed. Sorry
Yeah,
about that.
that's
That's what I
okay.
thought.
And it was called the wolf because it had a wolf right
Wolf,
here. And this
right?
is one I'm building for a guy. This is a really ultralight. This weighs like 2 pounds.
You know what
This is
that wolf decal reminds me of? This deli back in Miami called Wolfie's.
it's
That
funny. That
I
actually
went there as a
comes
kid. I went there as
It
a
comes
kid.
from a British. It comes from a British carburetor company.
Interesting.
They were all. That's the other thing is that Phil was a big Motorhead.
I was gonna say it also looks like the Tex Avery cartoon.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
See?
Well, like the one with like the suit wolf that's there. Like
Exactly.
looking at the
That's it.
tits.
You got it. You got it.
Yeah. Yeah. That's definitely where it comes from. I'm
I love
sure.
it.
But it was a carburetor company,
Okay.
now defunct, and I think they just put it on there. But a lot of the stuff that Irwin was doing on even other instruments, not just Jerry, like came a lot from the hot rod world. Like some of the finishing he did, like I said, California. I mean, it's big. It's a big deal. I mean, hot rods are a big deal there too.
Yeah,
I
well,
think
I
there's a lot
mean,
of overlap between guitars and cars.
oh, absolutely. With paint colors, yeah,
Right.
absolutely. For sure. So then, okay, how many? So you showed three models. You got four models, right?
Yeah.
Of the replicas.
They're four, so yeah, there are three. Yeah, so the replicas there's the wolf, the tiger, rosebud, and then on the bass side there's the Michigan Troll, and
Okay.
then I have my own guitar called the Lion, which is kind of has a lot of the elements of the wolf and the tiger and rosebud kind of all mixed up into one. And couple, like I said, I have sold about three of those. I've sold a lot of them, but I hadn't really, people just had to come for me and ask for something like that. I hadn't really pushed it very much. Um, and then I'm doing a new series of ultralight. I wish I had that one. I did this ultralight rosebud for a guy. The thing, it's got a Gretsch. It's got a Gretsch sparkle paint job on it.
Oh,
And it's
nice.
going to be set up like a Les Paul. Like it's got a Les Paul, two pickup with the Gretsch black sparkle.
Oh, that's what I was
Um,
going to ask. What color?
yeah, it's a black with silver sparkle.
Okay, so
This
it's
guy just loved he just loved those Gretsch paint. And this guy did the paint work, and it looks amazing. It's in the fret shop now. I actually used one of these new black. I didn't really want to use a tusk nut. I really don't like this tusk very much.
I don't either.
But now Stu Mack has come out with vacuum dyed bone nuts, which they have a black bone dye, black dyed nut on it. It'll be a black nut with silver, with stainless steel looking nickel hardware. So this will be cool. And then I'm building a new series of 5 and 6 string basses, short scale, that will be ultralight. What I consider ultralight, under 8 pounds.
Nice. That's cool. And is that going to be like, that's a custom order too? That's not
These
like
will be custom order. I'm building 2 6s, 2 6s and a 5 on spec, because really O'Teal's the one that kind of like spurred me to do it, because
okay.
because he was like, wow, if we could have that mission control sound in another platform, a 6-string platform, not just making a 6-string mission control, just that sound in an ultralight platform, man, he goes, you might be onto something. So he kind of spurred me to do that. So
it was like a challenge.
I took the challenge. Yeah, I took the challenge. I was like, because really, as we get older, you don't want and you're playing every night. You don't want to sling on a 12 pound thing if you don't have to.
No.
And I've noticed a lot of. I mean, like I'm also very into the band Fish. Even Gordon, Mike Gordon, who played a Modulus for years, is playing a Seric, and which is a nice bass, but way lighter. Way lighter. And I've noticed that a lot of these guys, not Gordon went to a shorter scale. They're not playing the long scale basses, and I knew several players who have been playing for a long time tend to go to the shorter scales as they get up there. I mean, it's a stretch.
It's easier to play, man. That's why I'm playing Gibsons these days with my hand issues. I tried a new Clapton Strat here at the house over Christmas, and the tension on it was way too tight. I'm like, I can't play with this. So I sent it back. I'm like, I'm gonna have to keep looking.
Yeah.
So I get it.
I'm just building my first, I'm working on this. I'll show you this one I'm working on. So this is a body for one that I'm working on, and this is built like a 335, based on an Ibanez AR-75, and it 2 pickup, Carr top.
Wood grain's beautiful, Leo.
On that one, yeah, it's a great book match, and this is where the Sophia tremolo is going to be. But
that's fantastic looking.
It'll be bound with that 1950s the 1950s Les Paul binding. But this is the first 2475 build I've done.
That's some really nice tiger striping on that piece of wood.
Yeah, this is a beautiful piece, and mahogany core.
Okay.
The center part mahogany, and this is a true bent side. It's my first true bent side build.
That's cool. I want to see that when it's completely finished.
Yeah, it ought to be sweet.
That looks great.
And it's gonna have a paint job like. I don't know if you've ever seen the Deans that were done this way. So it's going to be a black guitar, but it'll have the see-through black top. So you'll see the grain on the top, and you'll see the binding, but it'll be like it'll be like a black burst.
That's really cool, Leo.
So the grain will be popped. They use the dye to pop the grain. so the grain really jumps out at you, and it's a see-through like a black burst. So you see the top, you see the beauty of the wood, but yet it's still a black guitar, like the neck's black and everything.
What,
Uh,
like, who do
so
you?
and that's my first 24/7 vibe. I had to literally, like I said, all my tooling, set up for, I use all vacuum chucks and everything like that. Everything's done on my CNC, and so I need special tooling, a whole new setup to do smaller for the obviously for the bass necks, and then for the smaller fretboards. So I'm set up to do it now.
I was going to ask you about pickups and hardware. Like, where do you get that stuff from?
I actually cut a lot of the hardware myself.
Oh wow, that's
I
very
mean,
impressive.
all the metal working, I
So
cut
you machine
myself,
it. You
machine it.
machine it yourself. That's
Yep.
amazing. That's very
I have two
impressive.
CNCs. I have a low speed, high torque metal machining machine,
Wow.
and then I have
Wow.
what I do the woodwork. And then, but I use like for the Cluson. They're the only ones left that make the harmonica bridges. I've
Okay.
looked in, and they're they're on the SGs, and some Les Pauls. The only one that makes a decent replica now of those bridges is Cluson, and I'm not entirely happy with them. I've had a lot of issues. I have to send a lot of them back, like the way the I guess it's the coating that they use when they do the gold on there. It's not even. So sometimes you get a dead saddle, like the saddle moves. It doesn't sit right on the thing. So I've looked at having these machined. That would be machining bridges would probably be above my machining capabilities.
Wow.
Than cutting out hardware. But I've looked at it, but the cost per unit is astronomical. So, but
I was gonna
anyways,
say.
yeah, and then for bass hardware, I use the Babix. If you're, I don't know if you're familiar with Babix, they have guitars too. They have individual, it's really cool how they're designed, and they make guitar bridges too. So like the bridge, it's a tailpiece and bridge all in one. And they use this cantilever kind of deal here so that they're just really well made, and they're light. And you can
Nice.
get the string space. So you can get the string space. I wanted a tighter string spacing on these. So you put these individual bridges next to each other, and you can get a tighter string spacing for this 5 and 6 that I was going to do. And they make guitar bridges too. Full
Wow.
contact hardware, really nice, good company. Well made, well machined. And it's like on a cam. So as it cams up, it raises and lowers,
Oh,
like
nice.
the way this is. Yeah, it's a cool deal. And I did a lot of research on that, and it was the only thing I could get the spacing I wanted. So I really didn't have a choice. But I think they use them on a lot of fan frets and stuff like that, because you could place, if you have a multi-scale guitar or whatever, you can place the bridge in different places, right?
Right. Right. And
Um,
pickups.
no, yeah, and pickups. I'm a very heavily DiMarzio guy. I'm a DiMarzio dealer, but like I said, I use the bare knuckles Apaches for single coil a lot,
Okay.
and I've used some Lawlers and some custom shop Strat pickups for single coil stuff, but mainly DiMarzio. And I've done some Duncan 59s for some people.
Yeah. Dude. Like, okay, if somebody wants something special, what do they have to do? Just buy it and send it to you?
I mean, that, or I can acquire it for them. I mean, but a lot of times some guys want to send me the pickups they want, or if they just tell me what it is. I mean, sometimes I can get a better price. Um,
Right.
but yeah, but if they want whatever they want, I will absolutely put in. And any configuration, like obviously a lot of these guitars, they use pickup rings
Yeah,
that have, for three, whether you're using two single, two humbuckers in a single coil or whatever. But I also do the standard, like, Les Paul humbucker setup too, with the layered ring, the rings that are setting
right,
on an angle
right,
depending on the
right.
build.
Right. You either have the cream or the black rings around the pickups.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
and we can machine some too. We can machine out of metal or whatever if they want.
That's
If they
cool.
want something special.
Do you ever have to go to like Mojo Tone to get parts for anything?
Uh,
Anything? Anybody
generally,
like that?
generally I don't use them. I mean, I use obviously
Okay.
Stu Mac, and I get all my wire uh, from wire.com. I use the high PTFE, high temp, high strand for hookup wire. I'm not a big believer in the cloth stuff, but I've used it when people want it, and
And,
another thing I've done that a lot of people haven't done is that because all my guitars generally have the adjustment for the truss rod at the front, at the end of the fretboard,
right.
um, rather than a standard. I think that's a traditional weak area for most guitars. I think it's a cool thing that it sometimes makes adjusting relief kind of a hassle because you have to pull the triple ring out, right, with the pickups to
Yeah.
do it properly and string it up. So I actually used they're actually from the space industry, but Molex and computer industry. I use these Molex connectors with gold tips so that you can actually pull the whole ring off, with the connector.
He's gonna show us this, folks. How you guys doing today? Hey,
Yeah,
Stoned. Hey,
so
Deborah. Hey,
something
Mike.
like this. So this is like a triple ring that has three humbuckers in it, right?
Oh
So
yeah, there you go.
so rather than here's your wires here. So I have Molex ends that go on the ends. So you just put it off, and the thing, a couple screws, and it comes right out. Because if it had been, and this just came from necessity. I know that early on, Cherry and his guitars, they used the connectors that you used on a tow rig, like those little things that you had in the back of your car. If you had a towing for your
It,
lights,
yeah.
they would use those. Because if you had to change the battery, you had to get the stuff out, and you had to do it on the fly. You can't unsolder the damn thing. So I kind of came up with that. I didn't come up with the concept, but I found the right parts to do it, and it makes the job a lot easier because you can't just have this just hanging off the edge of a very expensive guitar. Uh,
No. No.
but yeah, but I think it's worth it because I like the way truss rods operate with the front action. Um, I think I think you get more action out of it that way.
Interesting. Interesting. Um, I just like it like the Clapton Strat. It's accessible. The hole's right here. You just adjust. You just take
You
your
just do
Allen
it.
wrench and just boom.
And you don't have to do it. And again, it's not something you have to do a whole bunch. I like to set, like I said, all my guitars go straight. Are fretted and plecked right off the bat.
That's cool.
Um, and I usually set maybe 6 thou a relief, maybe. Um, OEM. I like a little bit of relief, but not a lot. And I do always ask for a fall off on the last 4 frets.
Interesting. That's cool. Uh, so one question I have for you is that how much does it take to like what do you require deposit wise to start on a customer's
Um,
order?
sure, sure. So on the special edition ones that we do, and those are limited run special editions signed by Doug Irwin and stuff like that. Those builds are are half down.
Okay, 50% down.
50%. But on my standard builds, it's a third. Because it really doesn't take that much to get going. And then I generally ask for around 4,000 or 5,000 when we get to the fretting and the paint work.
Okay,
And then
so
the rest
when the
the rest
guitar's
upon
further
completion.
along, yeah.
Yeah,
So
way further along. Usually like a year and a half down the road, So like
gotcha.
by the time it's like, so someone, I mean, again, my guitars are not cheap, but a lot of people, it allows them like, they're in 2 different years. If they have something, some kind of investments or whatever, allows them to spread that out. And they know basically where it's coming, and then there'll be the rest upon completion, and then I usually just bill them for the shipping afterwards, when it
And then
goes out.
right, and then like the average price for your instruments, correct me if I'm wrong, all sort of lie in between um 10 and 20.
Yeah, no, well, no, between I'd say between 18 and 45.
Okay, I didn't want to put words in your mouth. That's why I
No,
need you to
absolutely.
tell me
But
tell me the right thing,
I
man.
have done some guitars. I do some guitars for special people that been as low as 15. Um
So
but that's generally where I
if
start.
I produce a coupon, if I produce a
Yeah,
coupon,
you may. And, and all I can say is, and it seems outrageous and ridiculous, but like these guitars, I mean, we have. I can't afford one of my own instruments, but the truth is, you're talking about, sometimes 300 plus hours
okay,
in
well
an
here's
instrument
right. So you
like
tell
this.
them you're putting in 300 plus hours to build one of these instruments. Tell them, I mean, like that's a lot of
Yeah.
time.
So yeah, and the woods that we're using, like for example, I mean you can't really see it, but I've got a whole wood library up here. I mean, cocobolo is a wood that has not been harvested or imported to the country since 2014. People want instrument made out of cocobolo. That all that wood what came into the country 2014 or earlier. It's
It's
averaging now $500 a board foot. Um,
$500 per foot of wood.
Per board foot. Yeah, 500 between, for the size that I'm looking for and the size between, between 350 and $500 a board foot, which is a 1 inch, 1 inch by 1 inch by 12-inch piece. And for these instruments, you're going to need a piece front and back that's at least 2.5 inches thick and 20 inches long. I mean, you're looking at several $1,000s, and like I said, $1,800 in just wood
I
for
was
some
gonna
of these
say,
instruments.
I was
Yeah,
gonna say, dude, you just described like 15 to 3 grand in wood
yeah,
alone.
yeah, and yeah, just to start, and you don't know, and I'm buying a piece of wood that's a log.
Right.
When you
Okay.
cut that open, 60% of that may be waste. You don't, like I said, this is a log that came out of a forest, 20 years ago, and you don't know what's inside there. You don't know if it's cracked. You don't know, you don't get to return it. You know what I'm saying? So
Have
there's a
you ever
lot of, yeah.
have you ever have you ever gotten a piece where you were like, oh crap,
I,
this is
I
not
have,
good.
it has I've had pieces with bug holes in it. I mean, there
Oh,
are some things you could do to try to rehabilitate some of it, fill it, work with it, whatever. But some of it, can just go wonky on you. I have paid $3,000 for a piece of koa, that when I cut it, it went, had internal stresses and was almost unusable. Like, I mean, just because you've cut something up and it just goes wonky on you. I mean, these are natural materials, and
right.
you need it to behave in a certain way to be an instrument. And I cut all this stuff, and I probably take you on a little tour, but like for example, see here, so like we go over here,
This is
and
great, Leo.
so like here, these are like bodies that are starting to be glued up. They're under pressure all the time, so they don't. I have to make these way ahead of time. They're all sandwiched together. To
I see
glue one of
that.
these bodies is a multi process, series process. There's all, every one of these has all these layers in here. We have to cut and make every little veneer that's going to go in there and glue this together. There's 8-9 layers, and
That's
then
amazing.
plus the top. And then we have to go in and machine the thing inside and then put the back on and make the back a continuous back. There's so much, like I said, there's so many processes to build this. It's not like you're just throwing a piece of wood down. Here we keep all this. These are all like I said, we got, man, look at all that curl. All this really nice.
Love it. That's beautiful.
Those are all the necks that are,
I'm
done and
I'm
ready to be
seeing it.
done.
Yeah.
And
That's sick, brother.
but so like I said, so these so anyways, but so there's a lot of things to this, and we have to keep the humidity a certain way, and you might order something, and ebony is another one. Ebony
You just hit the camera off
I
accidentally.
did. I'm so sorry. Here we go.
He went dark. There he goes. There we go.
Okay,
You're
cool.
back.
Oh, we got to flip around. Here we go. There we go.
There we go.
Okay, so ebony's been another one, and I happen to like ebony that is has some some character to it.
Yeah.
Like got a piece here, like so. This is a fretboard, done fretboard. I mean, you can kind of see the streaking in here.
Oh, yeah. I see that.
But it gives it character. Otherwise, it looks like, to me, it looks like a black piece of plastic. The way the old ones were. You can't even that solid black stuff that they. I mean, it's basically gone. I mean, it's very hard to find.
No, I had a Les Paul Custom in '86, and it had a dark black ebony fretboard.
Yeah, and they exist. It like for example, this is the cover plates that I do, right? So this is all a solid piece of ebony.
Oh, bring that over a little bit. Yeah, there we go. Excellent. Oh, so that's so beautiful.
And that's all inlaid. I have to cut these and cut every little, everyone is individually cut. I have to drill out and cut every little piece of this with a little jeweler saw, and every little, her eyes and her teeth and all this kind of stuff. These takes time and time and time and time, to do all this little detail work. And, and granted, I use machines for hogging out wood and doing basic shaping and stuff. But but it can't do that kind of work, not yet.
No, that's a very intricate thing that you're describing.
And I don't have to do that once. I got to do 12 of them. But
right.
So and the truth of the matter is, to keep a shop like this open, I've got 2,500. I'm not getting rich doing this, but I love what I'm doing. I mean, the thing is, it's it costs a lot to open one of these, but I'm trying to justify some, but man, believe me, if I could charge less for these things, I would, because I probably have a lot more in people's hands. But in the end, it takes what it takes, man.
Yeah, but then it becomes a thing where you have to take on more help. You have to get more builders in the shop, and then maybe you lose sight of some of the quality control. Those issues tend to start popping up, and then you're like, dude, now I've got like quality control issues going on that I didn't have before because I'm bigger now. And
the economies of scale thing.
Right.
I have one employee, and he mainly does helps me with the wood gluing and the dimensioning and stuff like that. But all of the fine work, all the stuff is still all me. I'm in there, and I work 7 days a week. I mean, I just do. I work 7 days a week. I try to take time off myself. But I love what I do. I basically live here, and I wouldn't do anything else.
Me too.
I'm so glad that this is what I'm doing with my life. And I get an amazing satisfaction. Like when the other day, I was like so thrilled. It's like, wow, there's this big, this thing at the Warfield Theater in in San Francisco this weekend for Bob Weir, who just passed. My guitar's on stage, for all these people. It's on TV. It's giving comfort to all these people who love this music and want to hear this music in this way. And it's happening times, I've made just over 80 instruments so far. So I've got somewhere in the world on any given weekend, 20, 30, 40 people out there playing my instruments, making people happy, reverberating out in the universe, and it's something that it gives me a lot of satisfaction,
I was gonna say
and
that's gotta make you feel good because, like,
no,
I got a few Soul Cactus amps out there,
yeah,
and people are playing on them, and I know that it makes me feel good.
yeah, no, it's a great satisfaction. I mean, it's like, my friend said to me, it's like we're at the dead 60 and or even sphere or whatever. It's like I made that instrument. My instrument is 150 feet tall on a freaking screen that 60,000 or 70,000 people are seeing. Like it kind of
It's
it's a small
surreal.
part. It is surreal. And to think that I started this in my I was nobody. I knew nobody. I was just a guy. And to get even that level of recognition, I don't lose sight of it, and I feel so blessed to be able to share this with what I do with people. And hopefully people will just keep buying them. Like I said, so far it's worked. Um,
Right, right. I think what you're doing is godsend personally.
well,
So
I really appreciate that, man. I know you're out there hammering it every day, doing your thing. I love that.
yeah, I mean, we're both grinding away at what we do, right? It's all
Yeah,
good. It's all good.
beautiful.
So I'm sure everybody wants to know how we met, right?
Yeah. So yeah, actually through my wife, my wife Wendy, who's a big part of our business. Wendy's the face and the voice behind the machine. I mean, she does all our social. We have a guy, a social media guy, but she's on top of the social media, keeping stuff, talking with customers, answering questions, keeping the keeping me so I can be in the shop and not dealing with BS. I mean, she takes a lot of BS for me. And you guys have known each other a long time, but even before me. And now you were at our wedding. So it's a personal connection, and it's cool, to see this. I was not till the last couple of years I've seen all the stuff you're doing. You built it up, and it's a cool
Yeah,
thing to see. So it's great that our two things could intersect in this way.
absolutely, absolutely. I've known your wife since we were freshmen at U of A in Tucson.
That's a minute ago. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It is a minute ago, and I remember meeting Wendy. And we didn't live in the same dorm. We met at a salt function, I believe, and
Oh,
then
cool.
we started talking music and hanging out and getting to know each other, and there was just like a friendship just kind of bloomed from there. And then I'm sure she told you that she used to, like, come and drag me out of my place and drag me to like various like hotels that we, we weren't supposed to be going in their pools and using. This is like
Oh,
our
wow.
senior this is like our senior year of college.
Wow.
Wendy used to like to resort hop.
Oh,
And so
man, I
she
can imagine
yes.
she loves the pool. That's for sure. She
Yeah,
likes the
yeah,
sun.
yeah.
Arizona's perfect for
Yeah.
her.
Yeah. Well, you guys are welcome here anytime. I've got a couple pools here.
That's beautiful, man.
So
We have to take you up on that. And we have an aunt and uncle that live there in town near Tucson.
oh, that's cool. Yeah. Um Anytime, man. You guys are welcome anytime. So
Well,
Leo, one last thing. Tell everybody
sure.
where they can find you.
They can find me at Scarlet Fire Guitars LLC .com. Sorry, scarletfireguitars.com.
Okay.
Or find me at Scarlet Fire Guitars on Instagram or Facebook, or Irwin Certified. bands.com, which the special editions are there.
Okay.
Thanks to everybody that's took interest in this, and I hope we didn't bore you too much.
No, I think they enjoyed it a lot, Leo. Thank you very much. And I hope you will consider coming back because I'd love to have you back on the show.
All right, great. Maybe sometime we'll do. I don't know. We'll try to do a demo with some instruments or something.
That would be great. I'd love to see that.
All right, man. Thank you. Take care. Do well.
You too. Be cool. Thank you very much.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right, guys. Well, there you have it. I hope you enjoyed that. And I'm gonna be back at, well, it's 3:45 now. I'm gonna be back at 5:30. I'm gonna give myself a little bit of breathing room. So thank you very much for all attending. And be good to yourselves, be good to the ones around you, hang loose. Love you guys. Thank you for all being in our dreams. We'll catch you later. All right. Peace out. Bye-bye.